Thank you for joining us for our third cooking tutorial with Chef Shannon Israel. This week we're going to be doing Masquerade hors d'oeuvres.
Hi Maria, and thank you for having me again. So this week we are going to do hors d'oeuvres, like Maria said. So we're going to start off with a classic pigs in a blanket or hot dogs wrapped in croissants. You can use croissant dough, you can use pie dough, whatever you prefer. So I just bought a tube of the croissant dough and we're going to open it up. And then we're just going to lay it flat on our cutting board here. You want to make sure that your work area is nice and clean. And a lot of space on there. So like I said, you can use the little hot dogs or you can just have your regular hot dogs and cut them in 3. So very carefully, we're just going to eye up and do 3 cuts on our hot dogs. And then for our croissants, we're going to take the 1 tip and roll it just a little bit, and we're going to cut it. Move this off to the side. So it looks like that. You don't want to cover it the whole way. You want to make sure you see the hot dog, both ends. Now on this flatter part, we're going to cut it in half. This way we can use the two strips for the hot dog. So that is what our hot dog croissants look like, and we're going to put them on a sheet tray and put it in the oven for 350 for about 10-15 minutes depending on your oven. And they are going to look like this. So those look amazing. So very carefully, we're gonna take our serving plate here. And scoop some of our little hot dogs onto our serving plate. And that is our pigs in a blanket. And those recipes can be found on the link below and the description as well. So another nice little appetizer that we can do going with our hot dogs is a bacon wrapped hot dog. You can also use the same recipe with chicken, beef. A lot of people do shrimp and they'll use bacon. So I am using turkey bacon. I prefer to use turkey bacon because it's already cooked, but you can do whatever you prefer on doing. So we're gonna take our turkey bacon and we're gonna cut it in half, just because unlike regular uncooked bacon, it's not gonna shrivel up. So if this was uncooked bacon, I wouldn't cut it. I would just use the whole length. So we're just gonna take it and roll it like so. Take it. Now, if you're looking for some color or another thing to do with hot dogs, you can take some vegetables. You can do this with peppers, you can do it with asparagus, whatever you prefer. So we're just going to take 1 asparagus, and I like them when they're nice and thin. They're not going to be as bitter. And the way I clean them is you just take the bottom and let it snap where it naturally snaps. So then we're going to take the long piece, and then again we're going to snap it in half. take our bacon, or cooked bacon here, and we're gonna roll it. Now with something long like this, you can go so it covers the whole length of it. And then you're gonna throw this into a sheet tray in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. This way your bacon will get fully cooked and your vegetables have a nice little, they're not as crunchy, but they have a nice tender to it. So those are our little hot dog appetizers. So welcome back to our second part of our hors d'oeuvres section of this video. We're gonna do asparagus wrapped capicola. So I have some fresh asparagus that I got from the grocery store, and I like the thin ones because they're not so bitter. So what we're gonna do is just naturally snap the bottom. The bottoms tend to be a little bit bitter and not very good. So we're gonna snap those all off. Now there's two ways that you can do this. If you like your vegetables super crunchy, you can skip the next step that we're gonna do. Or what I like to do is I like to blanch. So blanching of the vegetables means to put them in some hot boiling water for a minute and then pulling it out so it tenderizes it a little bit but not fully cook it. So we're gonna take our asparagus right over to our stove where I have a boiling pot of water, and we're just gonna set it in there for just a few minutes, like a minute or two. So now it's been a minute or two and our asparagus is nicely blanched. So very carefully, we're gonna grab our asparagus, let it drip a little bit back into the pan so we're not putting water everywhere and we're not getting burnt. So we're gonna bring it back over to our table here, and you can see the blanch compared to the fresh, it is slightly different colored there. It's not been cooked very long. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay these flat out and they're gonna cool down a little bit, and we're gonna go into the mixture. So the mixture is just cream cheese, regular cream cheese. I'm gonna take a scoop of sour cream. And then I like the cheddar mozzarella blend. So I'm gonna take some of that and sprinkle it in here. Now, if you like your product super hot, this would be the time to put pepper flakes or hot sauce, whatever you want to like add or spice up your asparagus. So we're just going to microwave it. Now the cream cheese is super soft because I left it out at room temperature for about an hour. If you forget to do that, no worries. Just throw it in the microwave for about 15 to 30 seconds to soften it up, and then mix everything together. Alright, so now that everything's mixed, we're just gonna set that aside. We're gonna take our sliced capicola. I got this spicy kind. So I'm gonna lay it flat on our cutting board. I am going to take our filling, and we want to try to get it in the center as much as possible. Depending on your sizes of your asparagus and how much you want in it, I like to do about 3. I take 3 pieces of asparagus, I'll put it in the center and wrap it gently. Now you can serve it as the full asparagus like so, or you can take it and cut it in half. So then you have 2 small halves. And that would be our capicola wrapped asparagus. Welcome to the third part of our hors d'oeuvres. We are going to do stuffed tomatoes with cottage cheese. So I've taken our tomatoes off the vines, I've washed them, and now we're going to core them. So we're going to take our tomato very carefully. Take the core out. And because these are big tomatoes, I'm going to cut these in half, and we're going to stuff the tomatoes this way. So the reason that I didn't cut it all at once is because you can use the center of the tomato if you want for like your salad or just have a little snack. All right, so here we have our tomato, our cottage cheese. Now these work great with the little cherry tomatoes or the little bigger ones of the cherry tomatoes. So that you can see kind of looks a little boring. To excite it a little bit, we're going to take a green onion, a little chive. We're going to put it on the top there. And then we're going to take our other tomato half, because we're not going to use that. And we are going to very carefully peel the skin, just the skin off of this one. Set that aside. And we're just going to very carefully roll. And we made a little decoration with our tomatoes. So there you have it. We have all 3 of our appetizers that you can do. I hope you enjoyed it. And Maria, what's up next week?
So next week we will be having some very sweet tutorial. Next week, so bring along your sweet tooth, and you might want to invite a bee along. They might be able to help us here. So this week's activity code is 7290. Thank you again for joining us, and thank you again, Chef Shannon Israel, for giving us this wonderful tutorial. Everyone have fun at your masquerades. Be sure to wear your masks, and also make some tasty treats for your masquerade. Thanks!